In order to overcome a deficiency in zinc, we need to add zinc back to the soil. And we can do this via fertilizers. We can utilize manures, which contain quite a bit of zinc, actually, 0.01 to 0.05% zinc. And there's some actual natural organic chelates within manures that'll help deliver zinc to the plant root. We can use zinc sulfate. It contains 36% zinc. It's a pretty common source for fertilizer application. It can be certified organic. If we mine zinc sulfate and all we do is crush it into a powder or a somewhat pelletized form, we can add this to soil. It actually has pretty good residual value, meaning that when you apply this, you can expect several years of the plant actually seeing the zinc as the fertilizer source. Typically, we say 2 to 4 years with about 2 to maybe 10 pounds of zinc per acre. In Ohio, I can tell you that the recommendation is between 5 to 10 pounds of zinc per acre. And as a soil fertility specialist, I like that application rate for a number of reasons, specifically for biofortification of zinc in the plants that we raise for food. You can add a zinc chelate. There's actually zinc DTPA and zinc EDTA that are sold on the market. They've got different concentrations of zinc present in them. And if you apply those to soil, they actually have excellent residual availability. I can tell you that in comparison to iron application to soils, zinc applications to soils are generally way more effective than for iron, simply because iron just really loves to precipitate out of soil solution. And zinc, although it does like to precipitate out, it doesn't precipitate out as to a great as an extent as zinc, as iron does. The recommendations. The recommendations across the US are almost similar from state to state to state. And this is the recommendation. So if you're between basically 0 and 1 part per million zinc from the soil test that's utilized to quantify zinc in our soils, you're low, and you might want to apply some zinc fertilizer. If you're between 1 to maybe 1.5, that's marginal, and you might apply a zinc fertilizer. And if you're greater than 1.5, the soil should be adequate for the crop that you're growing. Those are for sensitive crops. For other crops, the range is a little bit different. I can tell you, based on years of experience, that the upper portion of this table is oftentimes more used than the bottom portion of this table. And I can also tell you that I think in terms of adequacy for zinc, that the value of 1.5 is too low. And I think it should be up closer to maybe between 5 and 7. In Ohio, this comes from the tri-state fertilizer recommendations. In Ohio, this is what has been published, that the soil conditions where we might have a deficiency with respect to zinc, I'm not going to worry about the other 4 on this table, but for zinc, are in peaty soils or mucky soils or in mineral soils with a pH greater than 6.5. And this is for corn and soybeans. And I can tell you that for peats and mucks, the reason why is because that these soils can complex zinc and not allow zinc to be available for corn or soybean, or reduce the availability for corn and soybean, or soils that have a greater pH, pH greater than 6.5. The zinc may be complexed in mineral phases that are simply not available to the plant. And so these are some general guidelines to follow in the state of Ohio.